Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and today we are going over the Philadelphia Flyers going into the trade deadline. This could be a big trade deadline for the Philadelphia Flyers, and we'll be going over why right now. So the Philadelphia Flyers, man, it's been a rough year for the Flyers, and Chuck Fletcher made all these big moves last summer. He tried making things work, bringing in Martin Jones to help out Carter Hart. They bring in Keith Yandle, right, as a later addition to the lineup. They move on from Jacob Voracek, bringing in Cam Atkinson. They bring in Rasmus Ristolainen for a package. They traded Nolan Patrick and Philip Myers. They brought in Ryan Ellis. They made all these big moves last year, and they're in the same exact spot that they probably would have been. It's so frustrating watching the Flyers. I know my Flyers fans out there probably not the most happy about their situation either. But when is it going to end? So looking at a report from Rory Boylan, so he speculates that Rasmus Ristolainen could be a likely trade deadline candidate, and that's what gets us into today's video. Who are some guys that could be on their way out for the Flyers this year? Flyers, there's a lot of turnover right now with this team. We're starting to see some younger guys like Morgan Frost jump into the lineup, and this is where you can maybe move on from some of these older players. So, Rory Boylan mentioned that. Pierre LeBrun came out and also mentioned something on the Flyers, and this was to their captain, Claude Giroux. The Philadelphia Flyers have yet to talk to other teams about Claude Giroux in trade talks. Now, this could be a positive thing in the sense that maybe the Flyers just don't consider the thought of Giroux leaving. This is something they'll get done in the summer, and Giroux sticks around, right? And that's it. Or it's the mindset that they haven't gotten to that point yet where they say we need to move on from Giroux, right? So it could be a combination thing. Now, if you look at the Flyers lineup, like I said, let's take a look here. Because the Flyers, you look at their bottom six for their forwards, it's definitely very different than what we've seen. They're definitely kind of changing things up. There's a couple of new guys in there. So ever since they've brought in, obviously Alain Vigneault was let go earlier this year, and some of his staff, Michel Therrien. This is the lineup for the Flyers. So you have Joel Farabee, Claude Giroux, Cam Atkinson. Giroux playing center? When did I miss that whole thing? You have Oscar Lindblom, Scott Lawton, and Travis Konecny on the second line. And then the bottom six, this is where things get interesting. So you have James Van Riemsdyk, JVR, Morgan Frost, that's a former first-round pick prospect. There was a lot of hype around him. Gerald Mayhew, Max Willman, Connor Bunnaman, and Zach McEwen. So some different names in that bottom six. Guys that have been playing in the AHL with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms starting to make their way into the Flyers lineup. So the first one we'll go over is Morgan Frost, because this is a guy that was, I think, drafted in 2017 or 18. He was supposed to be like a really good top six center. I don't know if that's necessarily the case anymore, as there's been a lot of things with Morgan Frost. I think really it's been in between the ears. It's been a mental thing for Morgan Frost. He's just not been able to adjust, playing in the NHL for a couple games, getting sent down. He has not taken that too well. And I think that's just been a big hindrance on his development. And unfortunately, he just isn't there today. He is not the guy that they were hoping they would get from him. And they're just, honestly, guys that are better, but a lot of them are injured. Looking at the blue line, Ivan Provorov, Justin Braun. Then you have Cam York, Travis Sanheim, Keith Yandle, and Rasmus Ristolainen, who they gave up a pretty penny for. I think they gave up a first-round pick. Actually, no. They did not give up a first-round pick. I'll preface that. But they gave up, they gave up last year's first-round pick. So, they're doing stuff you're like, whoa, what are you trying to do here? And you gave up a lot for a guy that's realistically a third pairing defenseman right now for the Flyers. They're lucky to get half of that back in a rental deal over the next couple weeks. So I don't know, man. I'm really lost where the direction is, because like I said, you look at, this is a depleted lineup. You look at their goalies. You got Hart and Jones. Look at the injuries. Forwards that are out: Nate Thompson, Sean Couturier. That's why Giroux is playing center. It's because Couturier is injured. Nate Thompson, Sean Couturier, Patrick Brown, and Kevin Hayes. They're all out of the lineup for the Flyers. Those are some big name guys, specifically Couturier and Hayes. Those are top six centers, top six forwards. And then defense, Ryan Ellis on the IR and Samuel Morin. Those are two top four defensemen, legitimately starting guys out for the Flyers. So, like, as much as the team hasn't been good, and this has been an ongoing thing for the Flyers this year, they have a couple of key injuries, really three big injuries that are really, really bringing this team down right now. But with that said, like, there's no excuses. The NHL season does not care if you have a healthy lineup or not. That's where depth comes in, and the Flyers just, unfortunately, have not been there. You look at where they sit right now. They currently sit, unfortunately, very depressingly, 14 points out of the last playoff spot, which is held by the Boston Bruins. The Bruins have 48 points. The Flyers, unfortunately, have only 34 points. And they've been dropping a couple games. They just dropped this back-to-back with the New York Islanders. That hurts. They just lost to the Blue Jackets here tonight. Like, they're losing divisional games. You cannot afford that. And they did give up only 1 point to the... They gave up 2 points to the Islanders. They did get 1 point back, but the night before you lost the Islanders 4-1. So in a span of 2 nights, the Islanders made up 3 points of ground on you. And then you lost to the Blue Jackets, who are right there in the same category as you. Again, they're above you. Tough losses right now for the Flyers in the division. And that's the difference. In 3 games, you really set yourself back. And again, you talk about this Giroux stuff. He's not getting any younger. He's 36. He's 34 years old. You know, in my opinion, I think he's going to go to Montreal. I really do. In the summer, I think he'll go to Montreal, especially if a deal doesn't get done here soon with the Flyers. What's going on with the Flyers? I wonder if there's stuff going on with Chuck Fletcher. He's, the Flyer. Maybe guys like Drew are wondering, what is the long-term future of this organization? Do I want to stick around long-term? Because like I said, there is a couple of big contracts that have to be re-signed this year, and the biggest being Giroux. But you've got Giroux, 1 year left on his deal. Morgan Frost, who is one of those young guys, he has a year left. Rasmus Ristolainen, Justin Braun, those are 2 really good defensemen that are going to be UFAs. What is the status for that moving into the very, very near future? So guys, that is it for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Flyers? Do they reset it again like they've been doing every year? What is next for this team? Let me know down below. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.